Thank you so much, and welcome to all SAMRO members, and of course to our listeners today to a very, very wonderful episode today. My name is Ntabi Singh Nyakani, and I am the manager here at SAMRO. And if you know anything about me, you will know that my favorite topic ever is talking about the SAMRO benefits. And today we are going to talk particularly about the SAMRO Retirement Annuity Fund. So I have a special guest today. You will hear in our conversations that we'll be talking or referring to the SAMRO Retirement Annuity Fund as SRAF. So every time when I say SRAF or when she says SRAF, just know that we're talking about the SAMRO Retirement Annuity Fund. So every time when I talk about or when I talk to our special guest, I always get these shivers because, wow, she's such a legend in the retirement annuity fund industry and a world-renowned expert, honestly. Please help me welcome the ever so gracious, the SAMRO Retirement Annuity Principal Officer, Jolie Mokorisi. Hey, Jolie, how are you?
I think you give me too many props, but thanks for welcoming me so warmly. I'm great, and I hope you are too.
I'm very great. I think let's just kickstart our conversation today with SRAF. Can you maybe just tell our listeners what is SRAF, who qualifies for SRAF, and everything nice about SRAF?
So, SRAF is truly a project that's close to my heart. The SAMRO Retirement Annuity Fund is older than me. It was established on the 1st of January 1969.
Wow.
Would you believe it? So it's one of the oldest continuous retirement fund arrangements in South Africa. So it is a history maker in and of itself. And it's an occupational fund. It's obviously only for SAMRO members who are artists, musicians, and there's some incredible unique elements of it. Normally, with an occupational fund, you would need to be employed by an employer to participate in the fund. But this is an industry fund. You need to be a member of SAMRO to participate in the SAMRO Retirement Annuity Fund. And there's a couple of unique elements. One is that the members don't actually contribute to the fund. If you have 100 Rand or more in royalties in a given year, then the founder of the Retirement Annuity Fund, SAMRO, makes a contribution on your behalf. And really, I think it's one of the sweetest deals. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch, but I think in this instance, we come very close. Because if you earn 100 Rand or more in royalties, then the founder, SAMRO, makes a contribution of 800 Rand to your retirement annuity. Now, it is proportionate. The more you earn in royalties, the bigger the contribution that SAMRO makes to the fund on your behalf. Not saying that you can't make a contribution, you can. We call this additional voluntary contribution. But having said that, it is quite a unique arrangement in the occupational space, in the employee benefits space as well.
And, you know, since we're talking about all things SAMRO benefits, right, SRAF, I think you cannot be an employee or an employer without hearing the word two-pot. And I think I was very interested in today's episode and specifically the SRAF part because of two-pot. Maybe you can just take us through this industry, change. What is two-pot?
Okay, so two-pot, let me speak about how it came about first of all, because then it'll give you an understanding of why we found ourselves where we currently are. So two-pot came about because we've noticed in the retirement fund industry that members, when they have financial difficulties, when they change jobs, they make a withdrawal. We all know from COVID that the music industry was nearly decimated in South Africa. It was very difficult to recover, and we did see a lot of desperation. So governments across the world, but particularly our government in South Africa, also looked at our retirement system and said, how can we create an enabling framework where we are able to make a withdrawal without completely taking everything away from retirement. So what we came up with was the two-pot system. And what that means is that from the 1st of September, you will be able to withdraw a portion of your retirement benefit without having to retire from the fund or withdraw from the fund. Because before, you would have needed to make some kind of a withdrawal, which is you're either totally leaving the fund or you're retiring, or unfortunately you've died. That was the only other way to get your money out. But now government has allowed a change in tax laws which will allow you to take a portion out of your retirement benefit. Now, how this will work is that on the 31st of August, across the industry, we will have a look at what your balance is. And then we will take 10% of whatever your balance is in your membership up to a maximum of 30,000 Rand. And we will make that available from the 1st of September in what we call the savings pot. So if you want to think about the first pot being the savings pot, which is where we will put this money, we call that seeding capital, that money that we put, or I like to call it a starter pack. Like, you know, when you leave home, your parents give you a starter pack. Or when you get married, you get a starter pack. So I like to call it a starter pack. So that's your starter pack for that savings component, right? So 31 August 2024, we look at your balance. 1st of September, 10% of that is available up to a maximum of 30,000 rands. Now, that's the savings pot. Then we've got what we call your vested pot, which is all the money you would have had until the 31st of August, minus that 10% that we use to make your savings pot. And that money is your vested pot. Now, after the 1st of September, we will have what we call a retirement pot as well. So every contribution that we receive for you, a third will go into your savings pot, and 2/3 will go into your retirement pot.
Okay, so it's my starter pack, then it's my then it's my 1/3 savings pot, and then it's my retirement, the 2/3.
No, your starter packs is your savings pot. Yes, that's one in the same thing. And that starter pack is inside the savings, because we didn't want to start with zero, you know, because you want to withdraw from somewhere. So government said, let us give a small starter pack out of what we've already got to start this journey of having a savings pot and a retirement pot. We couldn't start with absolutely zero. We thought about, government did think about, can we just grow this pot? And as contributions come in, but people said, we are desperate now, not in the future. So we have to find a way of making this work. So government came to the party and said, okay, we will allow you 10% as seeding. Seeding is your starter pack into your savings pot, up to a maximum of 30,000 rands.
I'm so glad that you're mentioning, you know, the government savings pot and everything like that, because I know within a circle of my friends, everyone is panicking. When you hear numbers, when you hear they're panicking, some people want to retire, some people want to resign so they can get access to their money, because they don't understand, right, what exactly does two-pot mean. Some people even say the government wants to, you know, take my money. But I want to understand from you, you know the numbers, you are, you know, an industry expert in this, you know best. What does this mean for the SAMRO members, the people that we are here for?
For SAMRO members, it means that you can access a portion of your benefit after the 1st of September without having to withdraw the whole thing, right? In particular, we have members who retire because they want to get access to their money. And then, you know, with musicians, your career lasts a lot longer than other careers.
Exactly.
I mean, I saw George Benson performing at 80-something years old, still lighting up the dance floor, having a ball of a time. I'm not saying that you want to work until your 80s, but at least we now have the option of still being able to take the full benefits of contributing to a retirement fund for a significant period of time, and you're not forced into a situation where you have to take your money. So for SAMRO members, it does mean that you can save for longer, and you can save it in a secure place. And I know the rumors saying that government is going to take our money, government's going to steal our money, they'll run away with our money. That's not the case. South Africa has some of the strictest financial services laws in the world.
Agreed.
If government wanted your money, they would just increase the tax.
Yeah,
That's all
that's
that they would do. They just increase the tax. It's easy for them to increase the tax. Every year you get the Minister of Finance telling us during the budget speech what the tax will be according to the budget that government has for the upcoming period. So it's not a chance for government to take your money and run. It's a chance for you to save longer. Now, fortunately, what you call the Amapiano members,
Yeah.
the guys who are making your Amapiano hits, the younger members, this just means that they have a better chance of having a bigger savings pool when they reach their retirement years. So obviously it's later for some of us, not too late, it's later for some of us, but
Yeah.
it does mean that you've got a better opportunity for having bigger savings. I just want to emphasize as well that, you know, this is a vehicle to save for your retirement. So it is preferable that we don't use it when there are other avenues available for us to take to meet our financial goals or targets or whatever financial emergency that we have, that we use other avenues rather than using your retirement fund. It does attract tax if you withdraw money from your savings component, and the tax that it attracts is pretty significant. You are taxed at your marginal rate. Now, if you think about say a member wants to withdraw 2,000 rands, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the minimum withdrawal, by the way. The minimum withdrawal you can make is 2,000 from your savings pot. We then have to apply for a tax directive for you to withdraw. SARS then says, okay, the marginal tax rate for this individual is XYZ, so this is the amount of tax we must withdraw. So if you're on the minimum tax rate, which is, or you're at the lower end of the marginal tax rate, which is 18%, it means that 360 rands will need to be taken off your 2,000 rand withdrawal. And in addition, it also means that, remember, we have to pay our administrator because this is a service that attracts fees. It's going to be approximately 250 rand. This means that if you're withdrawing 2,000 rands, then you are actually going to be 2,000 minus the tax, minus the administration fee. And that's 610 rand, which means that you will get 1,390 for a 2,000 rand withdrawal.
Sure. So let me get this right, because my team and I will be the ones dealing with the members. Right,
yes, you get all the
explain.
phone calls and the walk-ins.
Exactly. So what you're saying is that come 1 September 2024, minimum that, so you guys will do your numbers. I know you guys are very strict when it comes to the retirement fund and checking your numbers. So you guys will check who are the people, who are the members who have 20,000 or above.
Yes.
First point,
Yes.
right? Second point, I can, if I am a composer, author, and I really want this money because I don't have the luxury of now booking gigs, so I can't save money. I don't have friends or family to help me out, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I can take 2,000 to sustain me, right? I can withdraw the minimum 2,000. Not only that, but you're saying that they will still tax me on my 2,000.
Yes.
And not only that, because there's an admin, for those who might not know, we do have administrators, Robson Savage. So Robson Savage will also charge me for that withdrawal.
Yes. We really felt it was not fair to charge all the members, that we only charge the members that are withdrawing. So the admin fee for that, it's like when you go to the bank, if you withdraw money from the ATM, the
Yes.
bank is going to charge you a fee for that. Same thing, Robson Savage is an administrator, our administrator. So our administrator will charge an administration fee for doing all the work that goes behind it.
Rightfully so, yeah.
Yes, and remember that just because this law kicks in on the 1st of September, there is a timing issue. So if you,
Yes.
that balance on the 1st of September, we will only know your balance a few weeks into September.
Okay.
So say mid-September, we'll know what your balance is. And then we'll be able to confirm what you will be able to withdraw, right? And then when we have all your details and everything that we need to make the withdrawal, we still need to apply for a tax directive. Now, my example assumes that all your tax affairs are in order, meaning that you don't have a dispute with SARS over any tax, and SARS doesn't need what we call an IT 88, where they order us to deduct extra tax off.
Sure.
So if you do have an IT 88, we've got to deduct an additional tax on top of the other tax. So if you're withdrawing 2,000 rands and your tax affairs are not in order, plus you're at the marginal rate, you will come out with a lot less than the 2,000 rands, and it will take a couple of weeks. Because remember that there are a lot of people who will be wanting to make a withdrawal, just like you. So we have got the process that we will use, and it's all going to be online, it's all going to be electronic. We will not be asking you to upload any documents. However, SARS also has to give us a tax directive. We cannot make a payment without that tax directive. So it's going to take a few weeks. It's likely that it will take about 4 to 6 weeks for you to actually receive payment.
I'm glad that you actually mentioned that, because I know that our members will be calling in or walking in, demanding that money right there and there, right? So now I have a question for you. You mentioned something about having my tax affairs in order.
Yes.
I know a lot of our members, composers and authors, they always say, but I'm a musician. What tax implication could I possibly have, right? Is there a way to actually know what tax implications you have before you even come to SAMRO to actually want to withdraw?
You can contact SARS. We all are encouraged to have a working relationship with SARS. And SARS is able to tell you where you stand from a tax affair perspective. You can also log in online. SARS has got an online system, an online portal where you have your own profile, and they will be able to give you your historic and current tax information.
Oh, perfect. Now back to our wonderful members. How then do they know that they qualify for the two-pot system then, to make a withdrawal rather?
You will know if you see what your balance is, and your balance is in excess of 20,000 rands, and but please give us a few weeks to update your member values, because the law states we must use your balance as at 31 August.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for that stipulation, we would be able to give you a roughly. However, having said that, we do know that a lot of SAMRO members do not have big balances. So the majority of our members actually have very low balances. And only about, I'm sorry to say this, only about 3,000 of our members will qualify to make a withdrawal.
Because I do know that we have around 12?
We have just below
or so
12,000 members.
Members
yes,
that qualify for the SAMRO Retirement Fund, not our whole database, because for the whole database, that's over 1,000 members. But people who actually earn royalties with SAMRO, which means that we make a contribution, that's roughly around 12,000 or so.
Yes,
So
those are people who've earned royalties in excess of 100 rand.
Yes,
Because
that's
they're
very
those
important
who
to know.
have also earned royalties below 100 rand. Now, you might have earned royalties in the past and you're still a member. That's a great thing.
Yes.
Please carry on being a member. We want you to be members. And we look forward to the day when all SAMRO members are also SRAF members. But not all SAMRO members are SRAF members, because
100%.
not everybody has received at least 100 rand in royalties, because that's the minimum you need to get a contribution for the following year. Yeah.
So then, say for example, then I see that I do qualify to make a withdrawal. What information or what documents will you guys then
Well,
need
there's a
from me?
couple of things, and this is actually why I have my iPad, because I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
But first, you will need, remember, we are trying to make the system efficient. So all withdrawals will be processed online.
Online.
Yes.
Perfect.
So we will not be encouraging any uploading. We've tried to make it really simple. No uploading of documents. However, you will need a couple of things ready when you are trying to make a withdrawal. The first thing is you need to be registered with through the Robson Savage system,
Okay.
through the portal, right? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a process for registering through the member
Yes.
portal as well on
Yeah.
SAMRO.
So all they need to do, all our members need to do, just go to our website, www.samro.org.za. Simply go to Creator, then SAMRO Benefits. Then you'll see there the first sentence, you see SAMRO Retirement Annuity Fund. Then you'll see the Robson Savage portal link.
So once you're registered through that link, and it's important that it's through that link, so you've got to log in directly with the administrator. There are a couple of other things that the administrator will need you to have on hand. One is, the first is your tax number. We can't escape this. There's no making a withdrawal from a retirement fund in South Africa without a tax number. You need to have a tax number, and it needs to be an active tax number. So if you find that your tax number has not been active for a while, you need to go to SARS,
Okay.
and you need to ensure that SARS reactivates your tax number and you are seen as an active taxpayer again. You can do this by walking into any SARS branch.
Correct.
You can contact them online. You can also contact them telephonically to assist you. So the first thing, very importantly, you need to have a valid tax number, right? You also need to ensure that you've got a valid bank account. Now, when I say valid bank account, we need your account to have been open for at least a couple of months. Okay? 3 to 6 months is what we're looking at. And the reason is, what we don't want is a situation where somebody perpetuates identity fraud. They take your ID, they take your whatever, they open a bank account.
Correct.
This week they're withdrawing your money. So that bank account needed to have been active for a couple of months, at least 6 months, please, if possible, for that. And you need to have that number on hand, your banking details. The other thing that you will need to have is your ID number. I always laugh that there's people who don't know their ID number off by heart, but you need to have your ID number ready and ready to upload it onto the system. Keeping in mind that your balance, I know I emphasize this, your SRAF balance needs to be at least 20,000 rands, okay? Then you'll need a secure connection, a secure internet connection, and a secure device as well. You also need a phone number that we can contact you on. I mean, we've had a few members who've given us a couple of phone numbers. Whatever phone number you use has got to be the phone number that you will be contactable on for a while, not something that you intend on ditching anytime soon. And lastly, I would say you need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
So please, I'm asking you to be patient with us, be patient with SARS, be patient with the system. This is the first time, it's the biggest change we've had in the industry in over 20 years.
Sure.
So we're going to ask that you are patient with us. There will obviously be gremlins. SARS has done a lot of work to test their system. Robson Savage has tested their system. We've tried to test the processes, but we are not God. So we will make mistakes, and we're just asking you to bear with us in the meantime. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you said that SARS has improved their systems. I mean, you see it when we're logging when you're filing your own text, that e-filing system, perfect. Even with us, I'm also glad that you also mentioned that you have to have a contact number that is reachable, because those are some of the things that we also face. SAMRO, apart from the benefits, every single time that a member changes their number, you have to inform us. You have to inform either Robson Savage, so we know that we can do right by you. And like Jolie said, you have to be patient with us. And I know my members, they'll be calling, they'll be walking in to say, but I've been waiting a week. They need more than that. They need more than that. And yeah, so Jolie, I have another question for you regarding two-pot, right? What happens to my savings, all the funds that I've saved before two-pot? What happens to those?
So all of them, this before two-pot, that's called your vested benefit. And all the rights that you had that went with that money continues past two-pot. So it will be treated like as if two-pot never happened.
Okay.
Right? So up until 31st August, all that money, it will be treated like two-pot never happened. All your rights will carry on with it. All three pots will be invested the same way. So some people are worried that if I have a savings pot, if I have a vested pot, and if I have the retirement pot, it's not going to grow. It will still grow with fund interest. We will still invest it. There is no what we call compulsion, or there's no, it's not necessary for you to withdraw, say, from your savings pot every year. You can keep all of that invested in the market as it has been all along, right? The other important thing I want to mention is that you can make one savings withdrawal in a tax year. You cannot make more than one withdrawal. So if you've made a withdrawal now, the next time you'll be able to make a withdrawal is after 1 March next year, because the tax year starts on the 1st of March every year. So after the 1st of March every year, you can make one withdrawal in that particular year. That money in your savings, say you haven't withdrawn, and it's been growing and growing, even if it reaches like 70, 80, 100,000, you can withdraw that whole amount. You will not be limited. The only thing is just on the lower end, you cannot withdraw under 2,000 rands.
Okay. By the way, with our SAMRO members, right, when they do go onto the website, Robson Savage, if they do follow-ups, who do they do follow-ups with? SAMRO or Robson Savage? Which is easier?
So on the online system, there is the ability to follow up where you actually are in the process. It will tell you where you are in the process and what the steps are, what the outstanding steps are.
Oh,
but
okay.
the system does actually inform you, and that's part of the reason why we need a current phone number, because SMSs will also be sent to update you where you are in the process.
Okay. Maybe an advice for the members who come to pot, they can't make a withdrawal. And I know that it can be quite discouraging for them, right? What advice do you have for those members?
So if you can't make a withdrawal now, say your balance is at 19,000 or whatever, remember we're still going to put money into seeding. So we will still put 1,900 into your savings. We will still seed into your savings component, right? So we'll put the 1,900. And remember that fund interest is growing.
Yes.
And between January and March, the contribution is allocated into your account. So hopefully you would have earned some royalties, which means that there will be a contribution made for you, and that will then increase the balance, and then it will mean that your balance will then increase to the over 2,000 mark, which then means that you will have the ability to make a withdrawal. Or hopefully you have a really good year. You don't need to consider that, and that money just continues to grow. And maybe down the line, you can make a withdrawal as the need arises.
Yeah.
It being one withdrawal in a tax year.
Thank you for that. I'm so glad that you actually mentioned the royalty part, right? Because as you already mentioned, we only make one contribution annually, right? But that should be encouraging. The more royalties you earn, the more contributions we make, right, for you. So now, in closing, do you maybe want to highlight any future episodes that we'll be doing? Because I know that our members are very passionate, like me, about the SAMRO benefits, specifically for SRAF. Any future episodes that we'll be doing just to unpack this topic more?
I think we would love to continue to unpack this topic, and you should expect newsletters as well. It's not the last you'll be hearing about two-pot. We also will be coming to the AGM. We always come to the AGM. SRAF is always present at the AGM. But we are hoping that in future we can discuss other areas that maybe our members don't understand so well, like death benefits. How do we treat them? And what you can do to actually help your family. Things like keeping details up to date, keeping your details up to date,
Correct.
making your tax affairs, making sure your tax affairs are always in order, and also ensuring that your family is contactable. All of that helps us meet the needs of the family a lot faster, and then we don't have to look for people and then there are delays in payment. Nobody likes it. I mean, there are other amazing benefits that SAMRO members have, like the funeral benefit, which you administer, which I really think it's a really, if you think about member servicing, it's actually, I don't think that there's many other agencies that are able to offer what SAMRO does globally, let alone locally as well. I really do think that SAMRO is offering quite a great overall package for SAMRO members. But in future, I really want to hope that we discuss issues like the death benefits, enhancing your retirement benefit, things like making an additional voluntary contribution. We've got members that make contributions into of their own accord into their retirement, which means that they have a better balance than some of the other members. I know that you've had episodes about things like how to increase your how to market your music to ensure that you get better royalties. If you get better royalties, it means there's a better contribution to your retirement.
100%.
So all of it is a symbiotic relationship, which then means that you get a better outcome. Hopefully we can also have other financial topics as well.
Like how to manage money.
How to manage money. You know, it's not easy. I mean, it's not just musicians.
No.
There's many of us don't actually know how to manage our money. And it's not your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
But hopefully, you know, during the major periods in the year, we'll have more conversations around how to manage your money and make better financial decisions that will enhance your lifestyle in the long run.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Jolie. I think for me, my key takeaways, especially for the members, is that you have to have a text number, because I know that with our members, they always say, but I'm a musician, why do I need a text number? But I know that you place great emphasis that you will not withdraw without your text number. But moreover, you say they should be patient with us so we can tell them, will you be able to withdraw or not? And if you are able to withdraw, it will still take some time. But most importantly, have updated documents, be that your bank account, your contact number, email address, whatever it is. And of course, feel free to always contact us here at SAMRO. As always, customer services at samro.org.za, but you can always call us on 011-712-8000. With that being said, Jolie, thank you so much for actually coming here to ease our nerves when it comes to two-part, especially for SRAF members. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. And I hope you'll invite me again.
Will do. Thank you so much. And scene.